Hey, so today we will be doing a lesson over the circumference and the area of a circle. For this lesson, you will need your calculator, your pencil, a worksheet, and your formula chart. Follow along. Alright, so circumference and area of a circle. We're going to start out with some terms. So here we have a circle, and I have it labeled here diameter and radius. So what is a diameter? A diameter is a straight line passing from side to side through the center of the body. So this line right here is the diameter. I'm going to line it in green right now. That is the diameter. Now, this other line I have right here is the radius. What is a radius? A radius is a straight line from the center of the circumference of a circle. So we have this dot right here in the middle. That is the center. So from the center out is the radius. So don't get me wrong, it can go this way, that way, that way, that way, either way. But just as long as from the center of this dot to the outside of the circumference of the circle. Now, that's where circumference comes in. Circumference, the length around a circle. So all this right here is the circumference. Now, if we move on to the formula of a circumference, we have circumference equals d times pi. What is d? Diameter. So we're going to look for the circumference of this. We're going to have to use the diameter times pi, which I'll show you later how to input it into your calculator. Now, another way you can find circumference is by doing 2 pi r. So we have 2 pi and we r. So whatever number of radius is, that's what you're going to put right here for r. Now, we need to move on to the area of a circle. So we all know that area is anything inside. Anything inside the circle is going to be the area. It's kind of like perimeter and area of a square. The perimeter is the outside, where in here it's the circumference, and the area of a square is the inside, the same kind of like on a circle, the inside. So the space inside a circle is the proper definition for that. Now the formula to find the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. So to find what the inside the circle is, you're going to need to look and find your radius. You'll always have to use your radius, and you're going to have to square it off. So let's start off with some examples here. Our first example is question number 1. If you follow along on your worksheet, you can complete the worksheet out too. So we'll start with, what do we know here in this circle? What do we see? We see that we have the radius, which is from the center of the circle out. And what do we know the radius is? We know that the radius is a 7. So I've kind of pre-filled this out. So we just have to punch in the 7 wherever we see the r, correct? So in this question here, area equals pi r squared. So area equals pi, and right here we're going to put a 7 squared, right? Okay, so let's just keep going. Area equals pi, and what we need to know is what 7 squared is. That's when you get your calculator out. 7 squared equals 49. So we'll put 49 there. So now we basically have to do just pi times 49. So here I'm going to show you how to put pi into your computer. Calculator, sorry. You'll go to second and to this little house top button. That gives you pi. Now all you have to do is put times and what we got for 7 squared, 49. pi times 49 equals 153.93. 00 in it. So what you want to do is you always want to round it up. You know, you want to just have 2 there. So for that, we know that the answer is 153.94. So here we're going to put 153.94 millimeters squared. You're always going to add that squared to the end when you're working with area. Now to find the circumference here, you're going to use this formula, C equals 2 pi r. We have 2 pi, and we need the radius here. We'll input that 7. Now, we're going to multiply 2 times pi, so we can get this solution right here. 2 times, second, housetop, and we get 6.283. So right now I'm just going to put 6.28, but I'm just going to follow along in my calculator, and I'm going to multiply that answer by 7, and it's going to get me my circumference, 43.98. 43.98. So we're going to put 43.98 millimeters. Follow along, you do not have to square that off. Okay, so let's continue with this question number 2. Question number 2, we see that it's going from one side to the other, going in down the center, so we can say that this is the diameter, right? We know the diameter, and here it is, 10 centimeters. So we'll start this lesson off. Area equals pi r squared. So we know area equals pi. The radius of this, oh, we don't have the radius, do we? We have the diameter. So we know that the radius is from this center point out. So basically it's half the diameter. So what do? Divide that by 2. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So now we know what our radius is. Pi times 5 squared. So here we go. This is when we get our handy dandy calculator out. 5 squared equals 25. So pi times 25. So now here, get our calculator again. Second housetop times 25. We get our answer, 78.53.9. Okay, so we see the 9. We're going to round that 3 up to a 4. Area equals 78.54. And when we put it over here, 78.54, remember to label it correctly, centimeters squared. All right, let's move on to circumference. So on this one, if you notice, I'm using pi d instead of 2 pi r. Since we know that this is a diameter, we can use that. Unless you feel more comfortable using the r, then go ahead. But I feel that since we know the diameter, just go ahead and plug it into the calculator. So here we're going to go pi times the diameter is 10. So we get our calculator out. Second housetop times 10 equals 31.41. Now we see this is a 9, this is a 5, so we round up 40 to 42. So circumference equals 31.42. 31.42, and we label it just centimeters because that's the circumference. All right, number 2. Once you get completely comfortable with using your calculator, you can just punch in numbers and you'll get your answers without having to do the steps. But to check yourself and make sure you're doing it correctly, go through all the steps. So right now, we have the radius as 9 centimeters. Area equals pi 9 squared. Go to handy dandy calculator, 9 squared equals 81. So area equals pi 81. So then this is where I get second housetop times 81 equals 254.469. We're going to round up to area equals 254.47. And then we're going to, when we transfer it over here, 254.47. Remember your labeling, centimeters squared. So to find that circumference, we're going to use this formula, 2 pi r, 2 pi radius, 2 times pi gives us that really long number. We're just going to leave it like that. We're going to multiply that answer by 9. And we get 56. 50, now look at that, number 8. We're going to round it up to 5. 55. So 55 centimeters. Question number 4. We again come back to having a diameter. Diameter, 20 meters. So basically you're inputting it, area equals pi. Oh wait, we don't know the radius. But do we? Yes we do. It's half of the diameter. 20 divided by 2 equals 10. So that 10 equals r. That's our radius. Pi 10 squared. So here we go. 10 squared is 100. So area equals pi times 100. So you could either just go multiply that answer by pi and get that, or you can do it how we've been doing it, second pi times 100, and just look there. You get the same answer. Just if you want to skip that one step, go through it that way. So we see that we have a 9 here, and the third decimal place here. So we're going to round that 5 up to a 6. So we go area equals 314.16. And once we put it in our answer box over here, we label it correctly, meters squared. Now for your circumference, C equals pi d, since we know what our diameter is. C equals pi 2 times 20. So, pretty simple. Pi times 20. 62.831. Oh, that 1 is not over 5, so we're not going to have to round that up. So we have circumference equals 62.83. When we transfer it over to our answer, we label it correctly. All right, so far y'all getting along, making sure that y'all understand this correctly. We can go over it more in depth if needed. If not, we can move on to question number 5. This will be our last example, then we'll continue working on our worksheet individually. So what we know here is the diameter is 8. We need to know what the radius is for that formula, right? So let's just do 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So now we know our radius is 4. So area equals pi r squared. 4 squared is 16. So A equals pi to the 16. And we get our calculator. Pi times 16. 50.265 round that up to area equals 50.27. We translate over here, 50.27. What are we doing? Millimeters. And what do we need? The squared. Now for circumference, plugging it in. Pi d. Remember, not the radius, but the diameter. So C equals pi d. Get our calculator out. Pi times d, which is 8, equals 25.13. That 2 is lower than a 5, so we don't need to round that 3 up. Circumference equals 25.13. Change it over here. 25.13. Label it correctly. Millimeters. All right, guys. So I hope that you have learned some quick and easy steps to make this easier for yourselves. Thank you.